Hey, it's Todd Duncan. Welcome to our strategy session. This is a chance for us every single month for me to spend about 10 minutes with you and to give you a fairly in-depth look at what I think a success strategy is. When I wrote High Trust Selling, I studied 50,000 salespeople globally in 14 different industries to figure out what the best did and what the rest did. And one of the things that the best did that the rest did not do is they had this idea of stepping stones towards success. They had this idea of levels and growth. And so I'm seated in my backyard. I'm at one of our stairways that leads up to the top of our backyard, and I just wanted to kind of frame this shot around an idea for you, and that is everything we do in our business and everything we do in our life is based on a level that we want to go to. You can look past me and over my shoulder, and while there's probably 40 steps that go all the way to the top of our property, you might be able to see 3 or 4 or 5 right now. What would that look like if in your business that was a 5-year level up, grow, level up, grow, level up, grow? What if it was a circumstance in which you decided that in 1 year you wanted to be here, in 2 years you wanted to be here, in 3 years you wanted to be here, and you can level up to that by deploying strategy to grow your business? This applies to any area of your life. I mean, in terms of getting in shape, or in terms of savings, or in terms of, the depth and intimacy that you might have in a relationship. Everything that we do in our life requires us to scale to a new level, and then to hold that level and let everything catch up and kind of let the traction, get its place in our life, and then to decide again to go to the next level. And you could take this philosophy and you could say there might be steps that I could take every year to be more financially free. There could be steps you take every day to have more productive calls. You can make these decisions on the fly. You can modify your plan anytime you want. But what I want you to get your head around is that there is a place here that most people want to go, and those people are here. So what are the steps? The law of the ladder in high trust selling says that the steps that you conceive, that you come up with, define really the success that you achieve. And so I look at a producer, for example, and let's say that I want to set a lofty goal, and I want to be, at some point down the road where maybe I'm a $50 million producer, and right now I'm at 10. And I have to decide, okay, if I'm going to be a $50 million producer and I'm going to go up that step each year by another $10 million, what does that look like? And what would I have to do? And how can I take that goal and then bring it down to the daily behaviors that are necessary for me to get that kind of lift? If I want to add, $10 million a year in volume, and I know how much my average loan amount is, and I know how many people I need to talk to make that happen, I could probably do that fairly significantly, fairly rapidly, and from a position of focus. To add $10 million is significant. It's not unachievable by any stretch of the imagination, but the biggest question is, do you know the steps that you're going to take to make that happen? When we think about the long-range goal, when we think about where you want to be in areas of your life long-term, the sad thing is most people arrive at a point and they haven't really articulated the steps. It can happen financially, it can happen physically, it can happen with your business. It's very interesting that in a population of about 100 people, anytime I do this, there are somewhere between 3 and usually not more than 10 that have a defined idea in writing about where they want to be at a point in time in the future. And they know the steps that they need to take to get there. And it's interesting that I say to the rest, so how are the rest of you succeeding? How are you achieving whatever results you're getting? And there is a look, I have to tell you, of kind of, dumbfoundedness. There is some admission of it's not purposeful, it's not intentional, and we will have some people go all the way to I'm succeeding accidentally. And so again, the steps, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And then what needs to happen in the day to make that occur? As I record this strategy session, we are ramping up for sales mastery, and normally during the course of any given year, I don't have to take the steps to actually make sales calls. But we want to be at a certain spot this year that we weren't last year. And so one of the things that I've offered to my team is I will make calls to, highly influential people, maybe CEOs, thought leaders, regional managers. And today I knew that my goal was to make 25 calls. And prior to this strategy session, I had a time block to make those 25 calls. And out of those 25 calls, we got engagement from 6 people. We left about 15 messages. And then I had some connection issues with the other 4. But it wasn't done randomly. It wasn't done accidentally. It was done as part of a greater plan, a greater place that we want to be. So my question to you, as you think about strategy in your business and you think about life, think about the steps that you want to take. I always refer to business planning. I always refer to life planning. If you want to be worth something in a calendar year, how much do you have to save in a calendar day to make that happen? If you want to be in the best shape of your life at the end of a calendar year, what do you have to do in the day to be in your best shape of your life that day? And when you start to think about every one of these as a step, the higher you get, the more successful you become, the more that you achieve, the more you can see the next steps. I'd love to pan the camera back and just show you all the way to the top, but the truth is that most of us never really arrive at our true potential. We never really arrive at the very top of where we can be. I don't, you don't, and probably, truth be told, we won't. The smartest people, the greatest innovators, the people that are just like you and me, often quip about the idea that they are not tapping into 100% of their potential. And so when we look at life and we look at business, the question is, what's next? And then the question is, okay, when I'm there, what's next? And it's not what's next because you have to have more. It's not what's next because you have to do more. It's not what's next because somebody says you've got to be better. It's what's next because you know that you're not tapping into you. So when you look in the mirror every day and you think about what is next, it has to be steps that complete your picture right now of where you're at. It has to be steps that give you a leg up on being able to look at yourself and say, I achieved something today. I got somewhere today that is very powerful for me. I took an extra step. I went to a level that I hadn't been at before. And as a result of that, I am now playing at that higher level. I don't want to go back. You can ask anybody that has a plan to grow their income. Let's say you want to grow your income by $5,000 a month. In order to do that, you need to close 2 extra loans a month. In order to do that, you need to close 24 extra loans a year. If 25% of the people that you talk to apply with you and close, that means you're going to have to talk to 96 people in the next year that you're not talking to right now. Those are steps. And that step, that one step to talk to 96, and that step to be able to measure how well you do that, then yields out the results you're looking for, which is 2 more loans a month, which then gives you $5,000. You can play the math any way you want. The point is, we all have a ladder to climb. We all have steps to go up. And when those steps are mindful, when they're intentional, when they're purposeful, when they're part of a greater idea of where we want to be, then that's the catalyst that gets us going. Some people procrastinate about taking the steps. They have too much fear, or they're not certain about their strategy, or maybe they tried this before and it didn't work. What I want you to realize is that all of those things are very real for everybody. I face those, you face those. Anytime we have a setback, we do have to understand that we can learn from that setback. Anytime we try something new, it's not going to work the first time brilliantly. That's why every step I say hold. If I want to grow it to a level of $10 million, let me do that in 3 months, and then let me just hold for 6 to 9 months, and then let me reset the mechanism and grow it by another 10, and then hold for 6 to 9 months. And the reason for is that you can achieve then that homeostasis that gives you the confidence that, okay, so I can handle this. It's not a spike. It's accidental. It's not something that was driven by, rates going down. It wasn't some, marketing campaign that I'd never be able to get my hands around again. It was done out of design. And when I can look back and I can have 6 to 9 months of stability, then I have the confidence to take the next step, which is to scale it up again. So this lesson is about steps. It's about knowing that there is a place for you to go. There's a place for me to go. And while you may be at a point that you feel you're really good at, there could be more that you do, not because you have to, but because you want to. There are people today that still do what they do to create cash flow, even though they have a lot of money. And they do it because they want to. There are people that stay healthy today because they love the joy of coming with health and they want to stay healthy. Some people are forced into having to be healthy, which is not a want to, it's a you have to. Either one are okay, they're going to get you to the right point. But the best position in life is to go where you want and to put the steps together to get you there. So this lesson is about the stepping stones, the law of the ladder, the steps that you conceive, allow you to achieve those dreams. And if you conceive them and you see them, you can achieve them. That's the importance of this lesson, okay? So focus on where you're going next, apply it to your life, dumb it down to the next activities that have to happen today. Repeat that, repeat that, repeat that, repeat that, and you're gonna be able to look back and say, wow, look how far I've come. Any area of your life, every area of your life can be modified, can be enhanced, and can be improved by following this simple formula. What you do every day defines you. What you don't do every day defines you. And what you do that doesn't work refines you. And it doesn't say you shouldn't try it again tomorrow. It says change your strategy. Never change your goals, change your strategy. And if you do that, you're going to be in great shape. Thanks for watching this edition of our strategy session.